What is the capital of Russia? Moscow, St. Petersburg, Kiev, Minsk. Which is the largest mammal in the world? Elephant, whale, shark, blue whale, hippopotamus. Who invented the light bulb? Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, James Watt. Which is the national fruit of India? Banana, mango, apple, papaya. Guess the answer. What is the freezing point of water? 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius. Guess the answer. Which is the longest bone in the human body? Skull, femur, tibia, humerus. Guess the answer. Which is the fastest bird in the world? Crow, ostrich, peregrine, falcon, eagle. Guess the answer. The planet closest to the Sun is? Venus, Earth, Mercury, Mars. Guess the answer. What is the national anthem of India? Band Mataram Jana Gana Mana Ser Jahan Se Aka A Mir Watan. Guess the answer. The first Indian satellite was? Insat 1B Aryabhata Bhaskara Rohini. Guess the answer. Which is the largest island in the world? Greenland, Madagascar, Borneo, New Guinea. Guess the answer. Who discovered penicillin? Louis Pasteur, Alexander Fleming, Edward Jenner, Joseph Lister. Guess the answer. The study of stars and planets is called? Astronomy, astrology, cosmology, seismology. Guess the answer. Which Indian state is known as the Spice Garden of India? Kerala, Goa, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Guess the answer. The first man-made satellite launched by USSR was? Apollo 11, Voyager 1, Sputnik 1, Luna 2. Guess the answer. Who was the first Indian to win a Nobel Prize? Rabindranath Tagore, C.V. Raman, Amartya Sen, Mother Teresa. Guess the answer. Which is the largest gland in the human body? Liver, pancreas, kidney, lungs. Guess the answer. What is the capital of South Korea? Tokyo, Seoul, Beijing, Busan. Guess the answer. Who invented the airplane? Wright brothers, Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford. Guess the answer. Which Indian monument is called the Sun Temple? Khajuraho, Konark, Ellora, Ajanta. Guess the answer. Which gas is known as laughing gas? Oxygen, nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, methane. Guess the answer. Which ocean is the smallest? Atlantic, Indian, Arctic, Pacific. Guess the answer. Who wrote the Indian national song, Vande Mataram? Rabindranath Tagore, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Sarojini Naidu, Subramania Bharati. Guess the answer. Which is the national tree of India? Banyan, neem, mango, peepal. Guess the answer. Which metal is liquid at room temperature? Iron, mercury, silver, copper. Guess the answer. The Battle of Plassey was fought in which year? 1757, 1857, 1761, 1707. Guess the answer. Which is the smallest bird in the world? Sparrow, hummingbird, parrot, pigeon. Guess the answer. Who was the first Indian woman to win an Olympic medal? P.T. Usha, Karnam Malleswari, Saina Nehwal, Mary Kom. Guess the answer. Which vitamin is known as ascorbic acid? Vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D. Guess the answer. Who was the first woman Prime Minister of India? Sarojini Naidu, Sonia Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Pratibha Patil. Guess the answer. The currency of China is? Yen, yuan, 1 ringgit. Guess the answer. Which country hosted the 2016 Summer Olympics? Brazil, China, Japan, UK. Guess the answer. The Great Pyramid of Giza is in which country? Mexico, Egypt, Iraq, Greece. Guess the answer. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? Iron, gold, diamond, platinum. Guess the answer. Which gas do humans need to survive? Carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, helium. Guess the answer. Who wrote Panchatantra? Kalidasa, Vishnu, Sharma, Chanakya, Valmiki. Guess the answer. What is the capital of Italy? Rome, Venice, Florence, Milan. Guess the answer. Who was the first Indian to go to space? Kalpana Chawla, Rakesh Sharma, Sunita Williams, Vikram Sarabhai. Guess the answer. The currency of Germany is? Pound, mark, euro, krona. Guess the answer. Which Mughal ruler is called Akbar the Great? Humayun, Babur, Akbar, Jahangir. Guess the answer. Which Indian classical dance is from Odisha? Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Odissi, Kuchipudi. Guess the answer. Who is the author of Ramayana? Tulsidas, Kalidasa, Valmiki, Ved Vyas. Guess the answer. Which is the coldest place on Earth? Antarctica, Siberia, Greenland, Alaska. Guess the answer. Who invented the computer? Charles Babbage, Alan Turing, John von Neumann, Bill Gates. Guess the answer. The first Indian woman president was Pratibha Patil, Indira Gandhi, Sarojini Naidu, Sonia Gandhi. Guess the answer. Which river is called the Sorrow of Bihar? Ganga, Yamuna, Kosi, Brahmaputra. Guess the answer. Who was the first Nobel Prize winner in physics from India? Homi Bhabha, Satyendra Nath Bose, C.V. Raman, APJ Abdul Kalam. Guess the answer. Which animal is known as the ship of the desert? Camel, horse, donkey, elephant. Guess the answer. What is the national sport of Japan? Judo, karate, sumo, wrestling, kendo. Guess the answer. Which is the tallest waterfall in the world? Niagara, Angel Falls, Victoria Falls, Iguazu. Guess the answer.